Welcome to the Miracles and Wellness Podcast. My name is Clarissa Booker, and I'm your life and wellness coach, and also a beauty expert. I am so happy and grateful that you are here. We'll be discussing all things health and wellness, feeling empowered, and loving yourself more while connecting your mind, body, and spirit. Always know that you can manifest whatever you desire for your greater well-being in your life, because I believe that miracles are for everyone. Hi, everyone. How are you doing today? Hope you had a wonderful week. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about mindful eating, just being present in the moment, your mind and body, just being there, just taking your time and everything when you're enjoying your food. Because being mindfulness is about being present in the moment, right? And it's just like, it's not just about meditation. It's just a whole lifestyle, right? That's why we also want to incorporate that into different things in our life, and that includes eating. We just want to pay attention in a non-judgmental way and have compassion towards ourselves when we're eating. Because sometimes we beat ourselves up. We do sometimes, right? So we want to try to listen to our body and stop when we're full. I mean, sometimes you go out or you're just eating and it tastes so good. You just like eat. You just want to eat it all, right? So we just want to try to take slower bites and just be in the moment. So don't try not to eat past the feeling of being full. So, you know, the itis that we feel sometimes, we just eat so much. We want to try to avoid that. That's actually not mindful eating, okay? So just listening and paying attention to your body and the signals it gives you. If you find yourself unbuttoning your pants, we've all done it, right? Let me just get that one extra little bite in. Then you should probably put your fork down. Or sometimes we're talking and we're just in a good conversation and we're just in a social environment. You're just eating and it's okay, right? You're just not paying attention because you're just having fun and you're enjoying yourself. But you want to try to put your fork down in between your bites and just still try your best to pay attention to what you're eating. Sometimes you feel like, oh, I don't want to insult the host by not eating and things of that nature. Like say you're at a dinner party. But you don't have to force yourself to eat all the food, okay? Like even sometimes in a household, do you ever grow up when you're told to finish your plate? You're like, eat all the food I made there for you. Sometimes grandma's like, what you think you're doing? Go back there and finish all that food. And you're full. They're like, don't leave the table. I mean, it happens in households sometimes, right? Not everybody's household, but you might have a relative where you go over and it's like, what you gonna do? But you want to try to not do that as much as you can, because that contributes to consuming more calories than you need, right? And then you're feeling sluggish, and that results in you also being tired because you have too much food and your body only needs so many calories and nutrients. I mean, once your body gets all that it needs, it's good. So, and also emotionally eating, we want to definitely avoid that. If you feel like you had a bad day, so you just go home and you just want to reach for something out of the pantry, like you want those cookies, that cake, or whatever it is. Everybody has something of choice, right? And that just leads into a vicious cycle. Sometimes then you'll find yourself getting mad at yourself. So then you'll feel guilty, right, about eating that. So then you're like, oh man, so then you might eat more. And then you might feel like sad, or just another emotion comes over, then you wind up eating more, and it just turns into a vicious cycle. So you want to try to be careful of that, okay? So you just want to eat when your body tells you to eat. Like if your stomach's growling or your energy's low, but you want to try to eat before it gets to that point where you're like ravishing, you just like grab something, you just like eat it, because then you might not even eat slow. Okay, so you want to try to use like a scale from 1 to 10, and maybe you find yourself at like a 3 or per se, and so you reach, and then you want to start planning to eat and get ready to eat. So you don't want to be starving, of course, but you don't want to be overly stuffed at the same time, all right? And eating around other people is good. I mean, it helps you enjoy the food better. And at certain times and places is good. I mean, sometimes we're like super busy and it's hard to do that. I mean, I get it, because we sometimes be running around, and then that also leads to mindless eating when you're on the go, because you're not being present and you're just like eating the food. Like if you have something to do and you're like rushing and you're just like going and going. So you want to try your best to eat at a set time. Like that's when meal prepping comes into play. Like if you could just prepare your food and bring it with you. I mean, just try to avoid eating on the fly. Sit down while you eat. Just take the time and to enjoy it. Just enjoy all those nutrients that's coming into your body. Acknowledge your food and your response to the food using all of your senses, right? I mean, just think about how much better a food tastes when it just smells so good. It smells so good. I mean, we use all these senses and it goes and play with while we're eating. A lot of times also when you are emotionally eat, you turn to comfort food, right? It's just like you just grab that thing that's really heavy and saturated that you don't need. So also if we are being more mindful when we're eating, then we will pick up more nutritional food, right? And then you'll feel better. You'll have more energy, just all the things, right? And then also when you're doing this mindful eating, you don't even have to particularly worry about your weight as much because your body is going to regulate itself. And then you're going to have the energy to do more and to get all the things accomplished that you're doing. You can be more productive, just all the things. Just when you're eating, you're just eating. Take a bite, put your fork down and chew. Sometimes we eat too fast. I mean, I'm guilty of that sometimes. Sometimes I'm rushing. I try my best not to do that. Okay, especially because I know better. So I'm like, okay, you need to calm down, sit down here and chew your food. What you doing? Okay. So it's like we just have to try to just enjoy the moment, right? You know what they say, living in the moment? Yes, all of that, all the things with our life in general. And that also includes your nutrients. Because what do we have? We don't have our health. Okay. We don't have anything because it's what keeps us going. It's what has us here for our family, for ourselves, for our loved ones, all the things. So it's just important. So if we can try to avoid it as much as possible, just eating and multitasking, because you're not paying attention to what you're eating. You're just going with the flow and you're just shoving food. Because if you're not paying attention, you're not even really chewing it. Just take a moment, like next time when you're there, like even take a piece of fruit, for example, or just take a bite and just chew. Count your chews and swallow the food. I mean, instead of just like eating the food really fast. I mean, half the time we're not even chewing our food. We're just like biting into it and we're like swallowing it when you think about it. Notice that when you're eating next time. And it makes the experience so much more enjoyable. I mean, some places you go and their culture's different, right? Where they just sit down and they just enjoy their food. And it's just like a really nice, relaxing experience because they're not rushing. We rush a lot here, which leads to the trickle effect of us also being stressed out because we're always going and going and going sometimes. So also considering where your food comes from, the sustainability of it, and just appreciating your food. And some other reasons why we might have mindless eating is like a learned behavior. Like for instance, like say when you was growing up, you wanted to eat sweets, for example, and maybe somebody was like, well, once you do that, then I'll give you a piece of cake or something like that as like a reward. And it got implanted in your head. I mean, it could be anything. And then as you got older, you just say you got a win, say something went well. And you're like, man, this is great. I'm going to celebrate and go eat cake, right? And so you develop that behavior. And so you think it's okay. And so you have to try to unlearn that, right? Or we talked about the emotional eating cycle, which a lot of times people struggle with sometime. Okay. And there's emotional learnings like from TV commercials where they just kind of implant it in your head, like marketing. You ever see a commercial when there's like somebody sitting there and they're sad or something and they're like, here, have a cookie. It's just the stuff they put out there and you just keep seeing it over and over again. And it's like it gets implanted in your head. Next thing you know, you're not feeling good and you're in the store and you're like, you know what? I think I'm going to get a cookie. I mean, it's just you got to be aware of some of the things. I mean, sometimes we do things and we don't even notice it. It's not like it's bad or anything. It's just that it's behaviors and habits that we've developed over time that we can go relearn. It's like brain training. Like mindfulness is like brain training. Like I was mentioning before, and I believe it was episode 5 podcast, how I was talking about how I had to learn how to meditate because it was hard for me in the beginning. And it's the same thing with like mindful eating. Like I myself have to like pay attention because I will be rushing and I have to sit down and be like, enjoy your food because then it messes with your body if you're like eating too fast. And then if you make sure you're eating the right food, a lot of times we have like this positive and negative meaning, like how we like label food. Like going back to the behavior with the cookie, how it's this is going to taste good. This is your reward. And then so we're painting the sweets in the positive light and then the greens and the vegetables in the negative light when it should be reversed. But it's like, this is the thing that's in our head. Like you might want to eat the sugar, but then we have nature's sugar, which is fruit. Like berries are good. They have a lot of antioxidants in it and it helps your system on so many levels, right? But you automatically think about the candy. It's like we have to reset our minds and our body. And we just have to realign our mind, body, and spirit so much. And then it's just amazing how it just flows, right? Once you get there. Because the apple is actually better than the cupcake. And you actually eating it and then you feel more satisfied. You get nutrients in your body. Just taking that time, right? And then we talked about when you're rushing. And also we're in our head a lot. So all that goes together, right? How we're rushing and doing the social thing and we're thinking in our head. We're just not paying attention to any of the things, right? And we're just consuming the food. So, but what about just like taking time to look at the senses, right? Like when you're eating your next meal after listening to this, try to lose like your senses. Like, what does it look like? We talk about the appearance of the food, right? Does it look appealing? Does it catch your eye? And when you talk about hearing, like if you're just sitting there in the moment, do you hear birds chirping? I mean, what's playing in the background? It could be relaxing. And we definitely know smell goes hand in hand with food, right? That just enhances everything. You walk in a room and it smells good. You're like, yes, I am ready to eat, okay? It just is so good. I mean, you don't want to eat something if it don't smell good. I would suggest you don't. I shouldn't say that, because sometimes something has an interesting smell and it could taste good. So don't listen to me when I say that. And how does it taste? Tasting your food, enjoying it. How does it sit on your palate? Just taking that bite, right? And putting your fork down and just eating, just tasting all those flavors in your mouth. Like, how does it go down? Can you taste the layers of the food, whether you prepared it or whether you're out? And if you're preparing it, that makes it even so much better, right? If you're cooking at home and you put all this love into your dish and you just sit down and you're like, yes, and you take a bite and you just feel the layers and the complexity of whatever it is that you made and touch. How does it feel? Is it soft? Does it have more of a dense texture? Little ridges? All the things. And then just think about how you feel when you're eating the food. Are you getting the necessary nutrients? Because you'll definitely feel it. You will definitely feel it. And there's like mental hunger. They say that's influenced by your surroundings, people you're around, maybe your physician, your friends, all the things, right? So just pay attention to that. And the signals from your stomach especially. When they talk about being hangry, we're going to use something like that, but instead we're going to call it manger. Manger. So for the M, it could be like a mindful check-in. So just checking in with your body, your emotions, your thoughts. And on a hunger scale, where do you feel like from a scale of 1 to 10? So you can take 3 breaths, then just like kind of check in with yourself and see where you're at. And just seeing what are you hungry for. And sometimes not even really hungry, you're just thirsty. Because a lot of times we do not consume enough water. So like a general rule of thumb is to drink your half of your body weight in water. And then, so if you're like 100 pounds, drink 50 ounces, okay? And if you drink coffee, drink some more. And if you're drinking alcohol, drink some more. So a lot of times we do not drink enough water. So a lot of times we feel tired or we think we're hungry and we just need to hydrate, okay? Which is very important. But I mean, sometimes we're busy and then we reach for other things. Instead of drinking water, we might have multiple cups of coffee or something like that. Or just something. Maybe you drink soda. Whatever your thing is. Some people like juice. But drink more water. Okay, so sometimes that's it. Or sometimes you are hungry. And how hungry are you? Okay, so just kind of checking in with yourself and seeing where you're at. Just give you a good basis before you start eating something. And then just knowing what it is that you want, okay? And A is for assess. So just observe and savor the food, just using our senses, our 5 senses. So sight, smell, sound, taste, and touch. We talked about that a second ago. Just taking that all in when we're eating, just enjoying the moment, just being present in the moment, having mindful eating. It's just being there, right? And just not rushing and just enjoying your food, appreciating your food, all the nutrients that it's bringing to you. It's like love, right? All that food loves you. It's like you want to have a good relationship with food. I mean, that's the thing, because not everybody has a good relationship with food, and that happens for many different reasons, okay? But food is good. Just good, healthy food. Don't obsess about it, okay? Because that's not good either. Just having a good, healthy relationship with your food. Food is good. And N is for nourish, right? So nourishing your body. Just getting just enough. Not overeating. We don't want itis, okay? Leave that for Thanksgiving. You get a pass, okay? Because we know it's about to go down on Thanksgiving. But every day is not Thanksgiving, all right? So you want to feel satisfied and not overfull. Just eat to satiety and you're good. Then you're not going to be sleepy and all the things. It's happened to all of us, okay? I know I've been there. We all have. So just paying attention to all of that stuff. Next, we have G, right? Gentle investigation. Gently investigates. Pardon me. So while you're eating, just pay attention to your hunger and satiety levels. Just giving yourself permission to feel full and stop eating, okay? You don't have to finish your plate. You could leave food on the plate. You can eat it tomorrow, put it in the refrigerator or throw it away or whatever it is that you feel comfortable doing. But you are not required to finish all the food on your plate. Give yourself permission to stop eating if it needs to happen, okay? Because sometimes you grow up in households where you're told to finish your plate, and just give yourself permission to relearn that if that's something that you struggle with, okay? And E is for eat. Just eating slowly and chewing your food thoroughly while you're eating, just enjoying your food, okay? Just becoming aware. So it all goes together, okay? And R is for recognize, just taking your outer and your inner thoughts and surroundings and putting it all together. So things you hear from the outside, diet things that you hear in everyday living, your friends, your family, your doctors, the media, just all the things. And then just pairing that with how you are inside, what your own thoughts are, your emotions, your body, your weight, just all the internal things and your spirit, okay? And is blending that together and making the best decision for you because it is different for everyone, okay? So just recognize and listen to yourself, your inner and your outer wisdom, just trusting yourself, okay? So it's good to think about these things as you're eating and as you're doing your meal prep. And the meal prep definitely, I believe, is a great tool, okay, to help you eat mindfully. Mindful eating is different than dieting, okay? So in order to get this to be more lifelong and lifestyle, mindful eating can help you trust yourself instead of using just willpower because you want this to last. Sometimes on a diet, it's like a quick fix. Like I want to use 5 pounds for an event. If you have to lose 5 pounds, that's okay. But you don't want to do like a crash diet, okay? Where it's like you're just going to do something. I'm just going to not eat or pick up a fad diet that's happening right now. You just want to try to develop good eating habits so that it could last. That's why a lot of times I say clean eating. I believe clean eating is a great option because it gives you more bandwidth of what to do. You're not just restricted because it's not really good to restrict anything unless you have to for a reason because your body's going to crave it. You have to make up for what's missing somewhere else. So if you're trying to reduce your carbs, you can't eliminate all carbs, okay? It's not healthy. You want to get your carbs from somewhere else. So there's just different ways to do things. And also listening to your internal cues about your body, just listening to your body about what it wants when you're hungry instead of just being like, I am scheduled to eat at this precise time, okay? Because you might not be hungry. Your body might not need anything at that time. And you're just putting calories in that you don't need at that precise moment, okay? Accepting yourself and acceptance. Like we don't need to talk about, don't eat this. A lot of times I'll be like, eat more of this. Make it more of a positive situation, okay? Let's make eating more positive. Like load more green vegetables on your plate instead of saying take out that, okay? Like adding in, it's more, we always want to think about things and make it a more of a happier, positive experience, because when you enjoy it and it's more pleasurable, you wind up doing it, okay? Because when you're like not looking forward to something, you will eventually stop. So you have to enjoy it. And mindful eating is more flexible compared to being really restrictive and fulfilling and making it a lifestyle. We want to celebrate food because food is good. Because if you are dieting alone and there's no mindset work and you're not doing a whole system around it, 95% of people that go on diets gain the weight back. So it's not just about eat this, eat that. It's a whole lifestyle. You have to restructure your mind, retrain your mind, so to speak. You have to be ready. It's just like it's like a whole gamut of things. So it's not just about, I'm going to do this right now. Because even say, for example, if you're on a keto diet and you lost weight, eventually you're going to have to reintroduce something and you have to be prepared to do that. And your mindset has to be okay. I mean, I know people that have had surgeries to lose weight, then they lost weight, but mentally they wasn't prepared for it and they gained the weight back. So that's an investment that somebody made, and then it turned around and they felt really bad because they sat there and went through all that and they were like super happy in the beginning, and then they gained the weight back because they weren't prepared for it. Their mindset wasn't right. They wasn't ready. So you have to do all the work. It's just not one component. You can do it, and I know you can because we all can do it. You just have to be ready. Just do all the pieces, okay? Because food is addictive. I mean, it's not a narcotic or alcohol, but it has the same addictive capabilities. Like a lot of times you need a sugar detox. There's a reason that people say that because your body is used to consuming that sugar. So it's a whole thing. I mean, it can definitely be done. You just have to believe in yourself and just do the work. That's with anything in life, right? So sometimes you got to go through a withdrawal. You don't think like that when it's about food, but that's real. And then sometimes you're addicted to food. I mean, there's so many addictions out there. It's no different, okay? It's just not, right? And it's not about the way you look. It's about your health. So sometimes if you are looking to lose weight or increase your energy or something, and you're scrolling on social media and you feel a certain kind of way, just unfollow that person, okay? Because you don't want to get stuck, because then you'll feel down on yourself, and we don't want that. Follow people that inspire you, that empower you, that make you feel good about yourself, because that is so important, okay? So along with your mindful eating, you could journal about your experience, things that come up when you're sitting there peacefully, or what you're eating, you can keep track of it. Like in my journals there, I have like a nourishment section where you can write down your food intake so you can keep track of it. And then just doing some physical activity, just moving your body, right? Everybody's physical level of activity is different. Sometimes just walking. Sometimes on a beautiful day, it's just good to just walk. And it helps digest your food, right? Yes, it's just enjoyable. Now that it is spring, sort of spring anyway, it'll start getting warmer. And it's just a perfect time just to get out and enjoy nature, okay? It just brings it all together, doesn't it? Yes, it just brings it all together. Okay, so I hope this helped you guys. So mindful eating will just help you eat more healthy, just paying attention to your food, making it enjoyable, and just getting the nutrients that you need for your body and your mind, okay? And don't forget, you're more than welcome to reach out to me, okay? And also, I have a Facebook group that you're more than welcome to be a part of, a health and wellness community. You can just go to bit.ly/wellbeing group. And all that information, how you can reach out to me, is also in the show notes. Okay, guys, until next time.
Did you like my mommy show? Leave a review. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for coming by. And if you enjoyed the show, I would love for you to head over to iTunes, subscribe, share, and leave a written review at Miracles and Wellness. I would love to know your thoughts and what you would like for me to talk about next. Also, let's connect on Instagram at Clarissa D. Booker. Until next time, love and light.